Previously.
Yo, Joe!
We'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe! American hero.
There's no case too big, no case too small. When you need help, just call Chip and Dale. Rescue Ranger, Chip and Dale.
Fear not, Ranger. Barbarian, magician, thief, cavalier, and acrobat.
Rainbow bright, see the shining light. It's time to take you to Rainbow Bright. Starlight lights right before your eyes, and rainbow colors will cheer you up. And a light like Funky, he's one of a kind.
Funky Brewster.
Your mind is just a fantasy.
And daring, courageous and caring, faithful and friendly, with stories to share. All through the forest they sing out in chorus, marching along as their song fills the air. Gummy bears bouncing here and there and everywhere.
And now, Picture Wars. Return of the Cartoons.
Boomer, Nessa, where would you like us to to go next?
So since we have our other panelists with us, we're gonna pick one that his namesake came from.
He respectfully
go-
suggested.
Yeah, he suggested it. So we're gonna go with the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
And for anyone who missed it, his name is Roo.
Roo. The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh as picked by Roo. 1988 to 1991. It's a latecomer in the 80s series. 4 seasons, 82 episodes. When I did Legend of Zelda, I mistakenly named these voice actors in Legend of Zelda. That was not correct. It is Peter Cummins, John Wilder, Chuck McCain, Ken Sanson, Peter Cullen, of course, Hal Smith, Paul Winchell, Tim Hoskins are some of the voice actors. The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh is a charming animated series that will capture both kids and their parents alike, with all new outings featuring Pooh and the whole gang. Ew, that didn't sound right. In the 100-Acre Woods, the world-famous bear created by British author A.A. Milne is joined by his young master Christopher Robins, the ever-bouncy Tigger, the gloomy donkey Eeyore, the incurable know-it-all Rabbit, and the always confused Owl and Squeaky Piglet, as well as the mother and son team of Kanga and Roo. And there's not really much more that needs to be said about this. Here we go. It is the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
Gotta get up, I gotta get going. I'm gonna see a friend of mine. He's round and he's fuzzy, I love him because he's just Pooh Bear, Winnie the Pooh Bear. Looking for fun, chasing some honeybees. Pooh Bear, I know he's out there. Bumbly tumbly, climbing a honey tree. Fun never ends for us, we're so adventurous, at least every now and again. And when we're alone and there's nobody home, it's nice to be able to count on a friend like Pooh Bear, Winnie the Pooh Bear. Wherever you go, oh, won't you take me please, Pooh Bear, I gotta be there. It's me and it's you, my silly old Winnie the Pooh.
My bad. I grabbed the wrong intro. It's the right intro, but the wrong words at the end of it. Boomer, Nessa, thoughts?
I think the whole song is A for me. Okay, so I'm being biased because I'm a huge Winnie the Pooh fan. Obviously, we have Roo here. We did have a lizard named Winnie. So I am saying I'm a little biased, but I like it. I like the animation style. I mean, I love Winnie the Pooh, but again, I'm being biased. So, Boomer.
So I think that cartoon obviously it's targeted towards an even younger demographic, and I think that it does exactly what it's supposed to do. It's colorful, it's catchy. I would go somewhere between B and A.
Okay, Trog?
Yeah, so I feel like who doesn't love Pooh, right?
What do you mean by that?
Who doesn't like that animation style? Who doesn't like the stories? Who doesn't, like my mom still buys me Winnie the Pooh books and sends them to me. It's cute, right? It is for a younger audience, but they're great stories. great lessons from the stories. I wore the wrong shirt. I have a Winnie Pooh shirt. I should have looked at the list and known it was on the list. Should have worn that shirt. The intro tells you everything you need to know. It introduces the characters without telling their names. That's fine. You can get those later when they're talking. Yeah, it's very cute. But was Christopher Robin in it? I don't know if I saw Christopher Robin.
Yeah, he was there
very briefly.
Yeah,
He was there for like a few minutes in the show.
Okay, got you. So yeah, I voted A, an amazing intro.
Okay, Knight Levitas.
That was great. I mean, it was warm. It was fuzzy. It was long though, and I think for me at least, like the length of it is why I knocked it down to B. I thought it was a great intro. Levitas?
Yeah, same. I don't remember the song at all, even though I know I watched this cartoon a lot. I didn't love the song, I will say, but it was cute.
It was fun. It was heartwarming. It was a B, I think.
Yeah.
Although apparently we're outvoted.
Buttons.
I will say that there are a few shows that capture my overall feelings of like childhood and just puts this general smile on that face. Winnie the Pooh Bear is that show, and I can't like the animation style of it, and just like the whole, you see the perspective of like how each animal is. You have the donkey where he's sitting there kind of by himself. I don't know, and like I feel like one thing that this show does well compared to other this intro does well compared to other intros is when you see, like, when you hear them talking about it, where it's like, he'll be your friend there regardless. You see, like, Pooh coming into the door on, like, a cloudy or stormy night. And I just felt like that gives a level of, like, immersion to the intro that, I don't know, I just, like, as you rewatch it more and more, you come to appreciate that more. And I just love it. I love it. Oh, sorry, Eeyore. I meant Eeyore. No,
yes, Eeyore. That is the name of the donkey. The poor depressed donkey that still gets invited by all of his friends to do things. I have an unpopular opinion of I've never really been a fan of Winnie the Pooh.
Move this man!
Personally, the stories have never really kind of grabbed me, nor have the characters. It's just a personal preference kind of thing. It's just something I never really kind of got into.
Too old.
That being said, though, I did say that this was a great intro. I felt that it did deliver on just about all of the things that you need for an intro to do, which is, introduce you to the characters, hook you in, make you want to see more of what's coming in later episodes. It had a great catchy song, Winnie the Pooh Bear. I mean, it's a good catchy song. My distaste, I don't want to say really distaste, my dislike of Winnie the Pooh would not sway me in saying that this is a great intro. But according to chat, the voting states that this is an amazing intro. I am not going to disagree with that. I will absolutely take the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh and stick that up in that A tier right here. Trog, you are up next. Where would you like to go?
I gotta go with the Thundercats.
The Thundercats, I love it. Oh, the Thundercats. Information on the Thundercats. Thundercats, 1985 to 1989, 4 seasons, 125 episodes. We had a lot of people doing voices between this, Thundercats, Silverhawks, Tiger Sharks. They kind of rotated people in and out. Peter Newman was Tiger, Wily Cat, Monkey Inn. Larry Kenny was Lion-O, Jackalman, Earl Hammond, Mumra, Jaga, and so forth and so on. There's a lot of people's names in this. The inhabitants of the planet of Thundera evacuated just before it was destroyed, so it's kind of like a Superman complex. They were pursued by a band of mutants, but one of their escape ships was destroyed. Only a small group of Thunderans remained. With only half energy engine power, the group, which was led by Jaga, had a set course for the nearest planet. They ended up on Third Earth, crash landed there. They soon made friends with various groups, but then ran into Mumra, the centuries-old embodiment of evil, along with the mutants that destroyed the rest of the Thunderans. They are a constant threat to the Thundercats. So here we go, Thundercats.
Thundercats!
Thundercats are on, Thundercats are loose. Magic, hear the roar, Thundercats are loose. Thunder, 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 Thundercats. Thunder, 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 Thundercats.
Thundercats. All right. Trog, thoughts?
Yeah, so I feel like that, again, something that I watched a lot as a kid. It was very exciting. I feel like that the intro is very exciting. It's got good music. It's not necessarily something that you would start singing in the middle of the grocery store, but it's very catchy. I will admit the trailer or the intro is a little long, but to me, it's like, I don't care. I mean, there's everything I want. There's fighting, there's swords, there's cats. I mean, I'm a cat person. Love Thundercats. There's acrobatics. You got to show the bad guys. You got to show the fighting. And yeah, fondness in my heart, I'd say it's amazing.
Excellent. Knight, Levitas.
So, full disclosure, I might have been the only boy in the 80s who didn't watch Thundercats, so I don't have that immediate, like, well of nostalgia in my heart. Having said this, it was a good intro. I mean, like, even having not watched it, I still remember Thundercats, ha! It went a little long. It was otherwise good. We gave it a B.
I didn't watch it either, and I don't really remember it, so I thought it was pretty good, but I wasn't, like, jamming out to it or anything. So B.
Okay. Buttons?
I think this opening does something that other openings don't really do, which is show the villain as an equal threat to our main heroes. And what I like about Mumm-Ra, he is, you see like the Thundercats destroying the enemies, and you see like the introduction of their power, so you know this one runs fast, this one has a tank, this one does explosions. You pretty much have like this amazing like sense of what they are, but then you see the villain as like he's going toe to toe with them, and it's not like a different villain of the week kind of flavor. It's this guy's the big bad guy, and he was actually one of my favorite villains growing up too. So that's all I have to say.
Okay. Boomer minus Nessa.
So I did my voting without consulting the missus. She's away from the camera for a few minutes. I voted A, solid A. Like that was the first 5 or 6 seconds of this video. Like Jesus Christ, that video goes hard. That might be the best, at least visually and audially. Like I didn't even watch the show as a kid, so you're not the only one. Good God, that went hard in the paint. I don't think you can get a more hype. Just intro, like if you had to grab somebody's attention with the first 5 seconds, this video is the one that's going to get them. I don't have a lot of complaints with this one. Solid A tier.
Yeah, I agree with everybody. Amazing intro. I feel while it went long, I also feel like it was needed in order to properly introduce. Like you had a good introduction of the heroes, right? You wanted to see all the heroes. In order to properly introduce the villains so that you could see what they're going up against, it did need to be just that extra couple, like 10 seconds or so. Other than that, yeah, guitar riff, freaking music in the background. It's just, it just went after you. And it's one of those things. I can remember standing in my backyard holding a stick up in the air going, Thundercats! No! And like friends would come running. It was great. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, absolutely A tier. And by the looks of it, that's exactly what chat is saying, or the poll is showing as well, is amazing A tier. And I've already moved it up into the listing, so we're already done with that one. Knight and Levitas, we're getting down to the last couples. So
I feel a great sense of remorse that I thought that we might be done, but there is one like glaring omission. It appears as though nobody has requested Voltron yet, so please and thank you.
Voltron. Now this is the lion version of Voltron, not the vehicle version, because they had the exact same intro. It was literally the same, except for the robots were different. Voltron, Defender of the Universe, ran from 1984 to 1985, 2 seasons, 72 episodes. Had the likes of Neil Ross, who portrayed Keith and Pidge, Michael Bell, who did Lance and Sven, Lenny Wendrib, who did Hunk and Prince Lotor, BJ Ward did Princess Allura and Hagar, Peter Cullen, who was Koran and the narrator, and Jack Angel was King Zarkon. And honestly, the synopsis of the cartoon is exactly what you're going to hear in the intro, so I don't feel like the need to repeat this. So we're just going to go ahead and watch Voltron, Defender of the Universe.
From days of long ago, from uncharted regions of the universe, comes a legend. The legend of Voltron, Defender of the Universe. A mighty robot, loved by good, feared by evil. As Voltron's legend grew, peace settled across the galaxy. On planet Earth, a galaxy alliance was formed. Together with the good planets of the solar system, they maintained peace throughout the universe. Until a new horrible menace threatened the galaxy. Voltron was needed once more. This is the story of the super force of space explorers. Specially trained and sent by the Alliance to bring back Voltron, Defender of the Universe.
Again, confession, much like last time, I never watched this as a kid.
I didn't either, I don't think.
So this was an experience, right? Like watching this intro, the first like 15, 20 seconds, we were like, this is amazing. This is great. And then for me, at least, I got bored. Like they started like when they were going into the details of the backstory and the military alliance and the meetings, like
we do not care.
I started thinking about like other things. I mean, not talk about why, but like, I don't know, like there were parts of it that went really hard and were really good, but that was about twice as long as it needed to be. And it kind of lost me.
Wait.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I did get bored, although after you did. But what I liked about it, yeah, the beginning was great. It caught my attention, but it was too long. I did like the space theme because I like space stuff. I like that it's like Transformers. And it felt like a throwback to, I don't know what decade, but like 50s TV shows or 40s radio plays or something like that. I don't know exactly, which I really liked. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. But like C, D.
Something around there, maybe.
Okay. Buttons?
I don't know what to say about this to start. So I'll just say Voltron has a really cool premise in the beginning where it's like, here's this giant robot. And you're like, I'm intrigued. When you say robots, I'm down for that. Who doesn't like robots? Who doesn't like gigantic things that like go boom and blasting? That sounds awesome. He creates a sword. I don't know what that kind of witchcraft he has, but I like it. And then when they start getting into this whole like trading galactic empires and like this peaceful transition, I was just like, I'm done. Robots? No, don't interest me. I think the problem is like, they're like, we need to explain it. And if they just took away the explanation and even kept to that beginning part, it would have been a good one. But if they threw like a catchy theme on that, that would have been an amazing intro. And I just felt like it just tried to explain it. Maybe it was because it was from Japan and like kids aren't going to explain this, but it's just like, I put it as it could be better. Not saying that it was bad, but if they just reworked it, it could have been fantastic in the opening sense.
Gotcha. Boomer, Nessa.
So we said good intro. Now, I think Transformers didn't get into it enough with what they were doing, but this got into it too much. So there's no like happy medium between both of them, and they're both very similar. And I also find it a little weird that Peter Cullen was like, well, I'm doing the voice for these robots from outer space. I'm going to do the robots for the intro narrator part for these robots from outer space.
That is a little weird now she mentioned it.
So I think it was a good intro. It could have been better though. Maybe take out a little bit. It was very wordy, but I also understand why this didn't last as long as Transformers did, because it just didn't. It's too much. It's also kind of a combination of when you think about like the people in the like kind of like Transformers, Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Let me pause you here real quick. I have to step away for just a moment. Boomer, go ahead and finish up your thoughts, and then Trog, I will be right back.
So watching the first little bit of this, like where they're kind of like slowly zooming in on all the different colors converging and the music slowly starting to build, you think, all right, this is going to be kind of like a slow burn, and then it's going to hit hard. And then it never really hits hard. And honestly, I thought that was the most disappointing part, because you're building anticipation for something that never really hits. Even with the great music, this one just didn't really do it for me. I also thought there were a lot of little details that didn't need to be there, like the sort of falling slideshow of the characters that you're already looking at. Like they're showing them individually, but they're already fucking there. Just zoom in on them. It's not that hard. You don't need a second viewing of the same character. And for that reason, I kind of think it's, it's good. I wish that it would have had a little more energy to it, but that's just my personal opinion. Nessa, you got anything else to add?
Nope.
Like Boomer, absolutely. I think thank you for putting to words. Like the build-up made it worse.
Honestly, yeah.
So I liked this intro. I watched this cartoon. My brother and I both watched this cartoon. We loved it. He had the toys. To me, it reminded me of Ultraman. It was kind of like that same style. Also, it reminded me, it had the animation style of Star Blazers, which I really loved. So I had that like nostalgia thing going. But I do agree, the intro is way too long. I think what would happen as a kid, we would the intro would start and we'd see it coming on. And so we'd run to the fridge to get a popsicle to eat while we were watching it because we were excited, but the intro was too long. And so who wants to sit through all that, right? But it has a great intro, has a great start, and then kind of gets a little too wordy. So, but I did vote that it was a great intro.
Yeah, I happen to agree that it definitely lost its steam about midway through. While I love the cartoon series that comes after the intro itself grabs you in the first couple seconds and really drags you in, and then as it kind of hits the lull in the music there before it picks back up again, that's where it kind of loses you, I think. So I think it was a poor choice in how they were assembling the intro for this. But it was also an animation style that you did not see very much in the 80s either, because it was Japanese animation and you didn't, most normal average kids didn't see a whole lot of that. So it was something new. It was refreshing. It was different. So I agree. I think I said that it was a good intro. And if I'm looking correctly, I can't see anymore what the friggin' poll said. Can anybody tell me what that says there? Is that C?
It was a C.
It's a good one. So yeah, I can agree with that.
A C hole.
Pause. Whoa now. There's at least one more that I personally would like to get to. It depends on if Buttons and Bruce picks it. If he picks it, we'll call it a wrap, because I think the rest of these are kind of all sitting in the same spots, and I think we know where they're going to end up. But Buttons, I'm gonna see if you pick the correct one or not. Let's see where you go.
I think I know the correct one, but I kind of want to throw another left curveball at us. I think the one you're wanting us to pick is the Heathcliff one.
No, not at all.
Oh, no. But I also want to throw us a curveball because I want one that looks bad to be an A.
Okay.
So I'm going to just throw out Captain in the Game Master.
Captain N.
Captain N.
Captain N.
Captain N, the Game Master. I actually really like that one. Captain N, the Game Master, 1989 to 1991, 3 seasons, 34 episodes. It didn't really, this is one that did not have Frank. Oh no, it does have Frank Welker in it. Haha. Matt Hill was Kevin. Venus Terzo was Princess Lana. Andrew Cavadis was Simon Belmont. Alessandro Julian was Kid Icarus. Doug Parker was Mega Man. Frank Welker was Game Boy. Levi Stubbs, Mother Brain. Gary Chalk, King Hippo. Michael Donovan was Eggplant Wizard. Kevin Keene was a teenager from Northridge, California, and his dog Duke are brought to another universe called Videoland. Videoland, where Nintendo video game characters are real to defeat the evil villainous Mother Brain. Mother Brain's trying to conquer Videoland. Kevin has been brought in to defeat her, as foretold by the ancient prophecy. He is given the title Captain N, the Game Master. Well, we'll just watch the intro from there and see how it goes. So this is Captain N, the Game Master.
Welcome to Videoland.
Wake up, Kid Icarus.
Welcome to Castlevania.
It's Congo Land.
Mother Brain will get you, little princess.
Princess, the palace is under siege.
Behold, the ultimate warp zone.
Kevin, I thought I told you to clean up your room.
Captain N, the Game Master.
Buttons, it's all you.
Okay, so I wanted to have one that would an underdog become an A tier. That was not it. So where do we start? It seems like they went to Nintendo and they're like, hey, could we get your properties? And they're like, yes. And they're like, sweet, can we use Mario? No. Samus? No. Donkey Kong? Kind of. What about their villains? Bowser? No. What about Mother Brain? Yes. And so like it's this weird amalgamation of like, yeah, I know who those villains are, but really like you're like, I don't really thought those characters were creepy. Those characters were like important. And like the weirdness is like they made all of them like weirdly creepy. It's like Kid Icarus doesn't look like Kid Icarus. Mother Brain has a face that looks like it's like from Cruella de Vil that's been ripped off and put into a jar. I mean, it's just weird, has like no music, nothing. I give it I don't know, I'm giving this an E.
An E. All right, Boomer Nessa.
Sorry, Verb's gonna have to interrupt the show here for a little bit. About to rattle off some stuff rapid fire real quick. There is a lot to unpack here. And I know there's somebody out there that's like, but doesn't he get a chance to speak in just a minute? Nope, I deleted it. Here we go. First off, what the fuck did they do to Mega Man?
Super fighting robot. Mega High.
Look how they massacred my boy.
Why'd they make Kid Icarus an annoying prick? Why does Simon Belmont look like a fucking ski instructor?
French fry when you pizza, you're gonna have a bad time.
Congo Land? Fuck you. Why does Mother Brain look and sound like they're from a fucking Walmart brand production of Little Shop of Horrors?
Feed me Seymour.
The ultimate warp zone. Mario sound effects while playing Punch Out. Whatever the fuck that awkward 80-yard sound was supposed to be. And last but not least, fuck you, Verbal, for making me watch this.
Hold up. Boomer, what the heck, man? It was the 80s. What did you expect? They were making cartoons for kids, not accurate representations of characters like we get today. Come on, man. I mean, look at this, right? I mean, what is this? That's not an accurate representation. Come on. It's okay. Calm down a little bit. It's okay. Don't worry. I mean, geez, you're not the only one that knows how to do any kind of scene transitions. I mean, come on. We got to stop meeting like this, friend. We got to stop meeting like this.
Okay, so I think it could be better. I do appreciate the transition, though, from like actual person to cartoon, which didn't happen really a lot in the 80s. So it's a little bit different compared to everything else that's straight cartoon. So I appreciate that aspect of it because you don't see that a lot. However, the green person coming out of the TV was really low render, and that just was off-putting. Like it took that away. But yeah, I mean, it could have been better. It just kind of second rate.
It felt like pandering, the whole thing.
Oh yeah. Trog?
So Buttons, you're off the hook. There was no skiing. There was some thing on a little like jet ski, but it wasn't skiing. So okay, yeah, that was just weird. I've never seen that. I've never heard of that. I don't know I didn't even know what it was going for until the very end, and the end was in the white and the red and logo Nintendo, and I was like, oh, that's what we were supposed to be thinking about, because that, I mean, yeah, it flashed from cartoon to like real life and then cartoon, and the real life guy was playing a game, but I didn't know that it was Nintendo. I guess I didn't pick up on that, but yeah, what was that? I mean, oh, that was just weird. It definitely could have done better. It didn't tell me anything. I felt like it really wasn't trying to sell me anything. It just, why would I watch that?
That's fair. Knight, Levitas?
All right, so this one was slightly difficult because I like Captain N. I like the show as a kid, but the intro was to borrow from sports. It was a tale of two halves. Do you want to sort of get into it?
Yeah. So the first part, I didn't like the cartoon part with whatever. I'm not too familiar with the first generation Nintendo games anyway. I loved it when it switched to this like high school kid playing Nintendo and getting sucked into his television. That is a premise that I like in things. So
yeah, I don't know. I feel like really quickly after that we determined it wasn't gonna be A tier, and that I don't think we disliked it enough to make it like an E tier. So we sort of wobbled around and decided that the parts that hit for us were enough to give it a B. Although looking at the rest of you, we were clearly on a different page.
Yeah, I liked the premise of this when I've heard that it was coming out. I did like the fact that they did try to visit as many Nintendo properties throughout the series as they possibly could. There's a whole Pitfall game. There's a Billy Bayou game that they hit. A lot of early NES games. But the intro itself, I've got issues with a green Mega Man. and the way that he spoke. Kid Icarus I always had problems with in the series because I hated the way that his speech was, but it just, Simon Belmont didn't quite look like the Simon Belmont that I remember in 8-bit pixel when I played Castlevania. It was okay. They could have done a lot better being a Nintendo property. They could have leveraged a lot more finances towards this, I think, as being Nintendo to make this a better thing. But it was also the 80s, and we have come to determine that there was lots of cocaine.
Super Mario Brothers. This ain't no game.
I gave it a this could be better intro, and by the looks of the voting in chat, that is exactly where this one is going to lie. And we're going to do one final one. And initially I had initially picked a different one, but then Buttons threw me a curveball, and I reevaluated what I wanted to choose. I think we are going to go with Heathcliff, because I feel like that may be a better one to end on. I was originally going to pick Mask because I have a certain personal affinity towards Mask.
Crusaders working overtime, fighting crime.
So that, for me, that's a really personal one. I know what I'm going to vote that one to be. It's going to be B tier. I know that for a fact. But I think overall, for the panelists and for the viewers in chat, I think Heathcliff is going to be a more enjoyable intro to take a look at. I'm gonna select Heathcliff here as the last one, unless you really want me to do Mask. I don't think Mask is going to do as well as I think it is.
Are we only moving on A tier or A and B?
It's going to be
final?
It's going to depend on the final number. Definitely A tier. Obviously, B might be included in this because I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's about 20 between A and B. So yeah, I'm going to say probably A and B is what we're going to move on to the final stream. Heathcliff was produced in 1984 to 1987, 2 seasons. This is absolutely ridiculous. 2 seasons, 172 episodes. Let that one sink in for a second. 2 seasons, 172 episodes. We had some voice actors of Mel Blanc, Stanley Jones, Danny Wells, Derek McGrath was in it. Synopsis is Heathcliff was a big orange striped cat who went around his neighborhood playing practical jokes on lots of people. So he definitely was not Garfield. He tormented his owner, Grandpa, but was friendly to Grandma and Iggy Nutmeg. When he wasn't stealing fish from the fish market, he was out on romantic evenings with his girlfriend Sonia or outsmarting his neighborhood bulldog Spike. There was also the Cadillac Cats that were in this as well, which was kind of like that whole split, like with Garfield and the Farm Friends. There was kind of this little bit of split. There was some crossover between the characters, but there was definitely a split. But in any case, here we go: Heathcliff and the Cadillac Cats.
Heathcliff, no one should terrify their neighborhood, but Heathcliff just won't be undone, playing pranks on everyone. There's a race to be on top, the competition doesn't stop, mixing with the ladies fair, being charming debonair, the gang will reign supreme, and no one can deny. They'll make them history and always have an alibi. So join in the jubilee. The cats are great, they'll all agree. Find in each calamity the cat's superiority. Heathcliff, no one should terrify their neighborhood, but Heathcliff just won't be undone. You should realize he can win with you.
Did you catch that key change in the middle of the song? Oh, it was so good. Anyway, Heathcliff was a great alternative to Garfield. It was more about the terrorizing antics of a cat in a neighborhood, and then there was the whole Cadillac Cats, which they were always trying to like run some kind of scam deal, something or another, improve their station in the junkyard, whatever it was. I really like this intro. It's got a catchy tune to it. It goes a tad long, but it's not as terrible as some of the other ones that went longer than they should have. It's got lots of action, introduces a lot of the characters. I don't know. I really kind of just like this one. I think I voted as it's a great intro. Boomer Nessa.
So I have a lot of conflicting feelings about this one. The song, obviously, S tier, epic. Like that's good stuff. the rest of it, you kind of wonder from watching this, like, what the hell kind of show is this exactly? Like, you don't really get a feel for, I'm not going to say the genre, but it's definitely odd. Like, do you know what I'm trying to say here?
No.
Okay. Neither do I, because I did watch this show as a kid. I don't have a lot of memories of it, but I remember watching a lot of it. And this one, it doesn't really give me like a good feel for what kind of show this is going to be. And
I think the tune is catchy. I do think it runs a little long.
Definitely.
I think they could have condensed it down a little bit and still kind of conveyed the same thing. I don't know. To me, it's a good intro. It could have been better.
Okay. Trog?
Yeah, so for some reason I thought that it was Heathcliff and Marmaduke. Is that before or after this cartoon? Or is that even a thing?
I don't think that's a thing.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, it was a little long. I feel like that it was definitely happy. It had a good catchy tune. It did introduce all the characters, though. Why was some person wearing a bikini in a junkyard? Did anybody else catch that? Like in a bathtub?
Cocaine.
It's the answer to everything.
I never saw this. Again, I for some reason I'm thinking Heathcliff and Marmaduke, but whatever. I'm conflicted between good and great, and I'm just gonna go with good.
Okay. Levitas, Knight.
Amazing. Like this unlocks this brought back some like core memories for me here. Like and towards it did go on a little long, right? This obviously is not in that 10 out of 10 no notes S tier, but like at the end when you're thinking it's going a little long, it's like whoa, like that shit slapped, right? You all saw me dancing, like amazing.
Yeah, very catchy song. I really like the antics the cats were getting up to. Although it was weird that this might have been the person wearing the bikini, but I think it was a really tall female cat in the junkyard, which did not make sense because all the male cats and the female cat at the end were like normal, short cat-sized cats. So that was weird, but it was fun. I liked it.
I just want to say on behalf of both of us, though, there's nothing wrong with anybody out there who might be tall girls, women, whatever. All right, you're equally valid, and we love you all.
Buttons.
I've never seen the show. I've never really seen the opening. But what I will say is agreed with the panel. Everything that they said, I agree with. The intro was a little bit long, but I felt that when like the opening, when I was like, okay, this kind of like wrap it up. That's when he was like kicking the pod up into the air, and I was like, okay, that's the ending. So I felt like it wrapped up. Maybe overstayed its welcome for like a second or two, but that was just my opinion on it. I will say I think I have a good feeling of where the show takes us because one, they were telling us throughout the intro. And how like you see kind of their antics with that one. So I feel like I can see like it's, here's the main star and here's some wacky guys around him. I kind of got that one. I'm not saying that it's an amazing show, or even it was a bad show. I was just saying it's good, all around. Highly, I'll watch it. I will say that you are right. It does beat the Garfield intro. Left, right, up, down, all around. This is the better version of Garfield.
Okay. Trog, yes, I did a quick search, and it did appear that in the later part of the seasons, there was a Marmaduke segment that was introduced into Heathcliff. So Marmaduke did make an appearance in Heathcliff, just not initially. So it does.
Heathcliff and Marmaduke came out in 1981. It was
1981. Oh, it was its own separate cartoon?
Yeah, Heathcliff and Marmaduke. It was a cartoon.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I want to thank all of my panelists, everybody in chat. I think this ended up being a really good list of 80s cartoons. I think we've dug through the trenches. We've definitely seen some of the worst.
Super Cop. RoboCop.
And we've seen some of the best. We're going to have a week hiatus And we're going to return to go over the 90s intros and start diving into the 90s and seeing where we can get some of those to land. But thank you all so much for being here. That's pretty much going to do it for the 80s comeback as we tackle the 90s. And as I always end everything, stay safe, stay healthy. I'll see you next time.